Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. Today we are going to learn how to sketch the graph of roses. So you may turn to page 90 using your module, Family of Rose Curves. So I will teach you the easier way to sketch the graph of rose curves. So basically, rose curves, we have two types of equations. First, we have r equals to a sine n theta, and then we have r equals to a cos n theta. Okay. In this case, a is a length of petal, and then n is the number of petals. And guys, basically, n, we will have two types of n's. Let's say n is odd. For example, n equals to 3, 5, 7, and so on. So the number of petals should be is n, okay? However, if n is even, for example, if n equals to 2, 4, 6, and so on, therefore the number of petals equals to 2n. Okay, so twice. Alright, so let's take a look at first example. Okay, I'm going to separate two parts of example. The first part should be for the case of n is odd, and the second half part should be when n is even. Okay, so example 1, sketch r equals to, let's say, 5 sine 3 theta. Okay, solution. Okay, now what is the length of the petal? Since we have r equals to 5 sine 3 theta, so of course, length of petal should be 5. And then the number of petals equals to 3. So 3 petals. Okay? Because here we have n equals to 3. So n is odd. So 3 petals. Okay? Next, what you should do is, we let r equals to the length of petals. So let r equals to 5. Thus, we have 5 equals to 5 sine 3 theta. So now divide by 5, we have sine 3 theta equals to 1. So 3 theta equals to arcsine of 1. Okay, if you use your calculator, then you can get 3 theta equivalent to pi over 2. Okay, or 90 degrees. So I'll give you a short note here. Since n is odd, so we have to plus 2 pi. Okay, so this is the short notes. So what you should do is, okay, right now we want to find the location of the 3 petals. So we need to find 3 angles. So right now this is the first angle, and the second angle we should plus with 2 pi. Okay, so we can get pi over 2 plus 2 pi is 5 pi over 2, and then plus 2 pi again, you should get 9 pi over 2. Okay, why? Because n is odd, so that's why we need to plus with 2 pi. Okay, now after that the theta should be, okay, so you have to divide everything, 3 petals, so 3 angles here, 3 petals, 3 petals, so that's why we stop at the third angle. Next you have to divide everything by 3, so we have pi over 6, 5 pi over 6, and then 9 pi over 6. Or this is equivalent to 3 pi over 2, 3, 2. Okay, so equivalently this angle is equals to pi over 6 is 30 degrees, 150 degrees, and then 3 pi over 2 of course 270 degrees. Okay, now we can sketch the traces or the location of the angles. Alright, I'm going to use the green color. Okay, so this is the location of the first angle. We have theta equals to pi over 6. And then theta equals to 5 pi over 6 should be located in the second quadrant. So theta equals to 5 pi over 6. And the last one, theta equals to 3 pi over 2. So it should be here. Therefore, the first petal should be located here, 1. And this is the second petal, and this is the third petal. Okay. So since the third petal is located on y-axis, so we can denote the length of petal here as -5. Okay, done. That's it. Finish already. Okay, let us go to the second example. Example 2. Okay, sketch. Just now we have sine, so right now let me give you example of cos. R equals to 7, cos, let's say 5 theta. So now we have a solution. Okay, length of petal equals to 7. And then, okay, number of petal. Okay, in this case, n equals to 5, so n is odd. So 5 petals, okay? So we have 5 petals. Alright, using the same step, we let R equals to the length of petals, so R equals to 7. Thus, we have 7 equals to 7 cos 5 theta. So divide by 7, we have cos 5 theta equals to 1. So 5 theta equals to cos of 1. Again, you can use your calculator. Then you can find that cos 1 equals to 0. Okay. Alright, in this example, since we have 5 petals, then we should find the location for the 5 angles, for the 5 petals. So we should find 5 angles here. So the short note, you should notice here, since n is odd, so plus 2 pi. Okay. So plus 2 pi, we will have 0 plus 2 pi, of course 2 pi, plus 2 pi again we get 4 pi, plus 2 pi again we get 6 pi, and then plus, okay, so right now we have 4. Okay, 6 pi plus 2 pi we have 8 pi, so stop. Okay, so that's, you can understand this, plus 2 pi plus 2 pi. So we have theta, divide everything by 5, we get 0, 2 pi over 5, 4 pi over 5, 6 pi over 5, and then 8 pi over 5. Or equivalently, I can say that this is 0 degrees, and then we have 72 degrees. This is 144 degrees. 6 pi over 5 is 216 degrees, and then 8 pi over 5 should be equivalent to 288 degrees. Okay, now, okay, so we can sketch all of the 5 petals. So the first angle is 0, theta equals to 0 should be here. Second, theta equals to 2 pi over 5 should be here. The third petal located on 4 pi over 5. So theta equals to 4 pi over 5. And then 6 pi over 5 is somewhere here in the third quadrant. So 6 pi over 5. The last one is theta equals to 8 pi over 5. So the first petal at theta equals to 0, and then this is the second petal, the third petal, fourth petal, and then this is the fifth petal. Okay, so we can denote the length of petal here, right here, because this petal is located on x-axis. So we have 5 here. Oh, sorry, the length is 7. So 7 here. Okay, so done. That's it. Alright, as I promised you, I want to give you the example for n is even. So example 3, sketch r equals to 6 sine 2 theta. Okay, now in this case, n is even. So when n is even, we have 2n. So 2 times 2 equals to 4 petals. Okay. So solution. Length of petal in this case is equals to 6, and then number of petals. Since we have n is even number, so 2 times 2 we get 4 petals. Okay. Because when n is even, the number of petals should be twice. So again, the same step, we let r equals to length of petals, so r equals to 6. Thus, 6 equals to 6 sine 2 theta. We have sine 2 theta equals to 1. So 2 theta equals to arc sine of 1. Use your calculator, then you can get the 2 theta equals to arc sine 1 equals to 90 degrees or pi over 2. Okay, now, in this case, since n is even number, so it should be a bit different with the previous example. We need to plus with 2 pi. Okay, previously we add or plus with pi. Sorry, in this case we plus, sorry, I want to change this. Since n is even, we need to plus with pi, okay? Plus with pi. So, plus with pi only. We will have pi over 2 plus pi should be 3 pi over 2. And then plus pi again. Okay, previously we plus 2 pi. In this case, we plus pi. So since we have 4 petals, so we need to find 4 angles. So plus pi, again we get 5 pi over 2 plus pi, again we get 7 pi over 2. So plus pi. Okay. Now we have theta equals to pi over 4 3 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4, and then 7 pi over 4. Or in degree, this is equivalent to 45 degrees, 135 degrees, we have 225 degrees. 7 pi over 4 is equivalent to 315 degrees. Okay, so let us sketch the rows. Okay, the first angle is pi over 4, so it should be located in the first quadrant. Pi over 4 or 45 degrees. And then the second angle is 3 pi over 4, should be located in the second quadrant, sorry. Theta equals to 3 pi over 4. And then the third angle should be located in the third quadrant, of course. We have theta equals to 5 pi over 4, and the fourth angle should be located here in the fourth quadrant. So this is the fourth angle. Theta equals to 7 pi over 4. So now the petals, okay, this is the first petal, second, third, and fourth. Okay, in this example, since none of the petals located in either x or y axis, so we cannot denote the length of the petal, then it's okay. You can leave your answer like this. You can get full mark already. Okay, so that's it. Next example. Example number 4. Let's say we sketch r equals to 11 cos 4 theta. So in this case, we have n is even, again even number. So the number of petals should be 2 times 4 equals to 8 petals. Okay, so solution. In this question, we have length of petal equals to 11, and then number of petals equals to, okay, so 2 times 4 equals to 8 petals. Alright. So again, the same step. We let r equals to length of petals, so r equals to 11. Thus, we have 11 equals to 11 cos 4 theta. So cos 4 theta equals to 1. So 4 theta equals to arc cos of 1. So again, you can use your calculator. Then you can have arc cos 1 is equals to 0. So in this example, how many angles do we need to find? Since we have 8 petals, so we need to find 8 angles. Okay? And in this case, since n is even, so we need to plus with pi. Okay? When n is even, plus pi. But when n is odd, plus 2 pi. So in this case, n is even, so we need to plus with pi. So plus pi, we get pi, plus pi again, 2 pi, plus pi again, 3 pi, plus pi, 4 pi, plus pi, 5 pi, plus pi, 6 pi, and then plus pi, 7 pi. Okay, why we have until 7 pi? Because we have 8 petals. Okay, so plus pi, plus pi, plus pi, plus pi, plus pi, plus pi. Okay, so we stop until the 8th angle. Next, divide everything by 4, then we have 0, pi over 4, 2 pi, 2 divided by 4 is pi over 2, 3 pi over 4, 4 pi divided by 4 is pi, 5 pi over 4, 6 pi over 4 is 3 pi over 2, 7 pi over 4. Or equivalently, in degree, we can have, this is 0 degrees, 45 degrees, 90 degrees, 3 pi over 4 should be 135 degrees, this is 180 degrees, 5 pi over 4 should be 225 degrees, and then this is 270 degrees, and then 7 pi over 4 is 315 degrees. So now we can sketch the rules, curves. Okay, first we have 0. So right here, this is theta equals to 0. And then theta equals to pi over 4 in the first quadrant. Theta equals to pi over 4. And then theta equals to pi over 2, theta equals to, next is theta equals to 3 pi over 4. And then theta equals to pi. Next is theta equals to 5 pi over 4. And then next theta equals to 3 pi over 2. The last one is theta equals to 7 pi over 4. So, last step. The first petal located on theta equals to 0, and then the second petal located theta equals to pi over 4, third petal, fourth petal, fifth petal, sixth petal, 7 petal, and then the last one 8 petal here. Okay, so now you can denote the length of petal, since we can see that the petals is located on x and y axis. So we can denote the length here equals to 11, up here 11, and then here should be negative 11, and here should be negative 11. Okay, so that's all. Finish already. All the best. Hopefully you can understand this lesson. Good luck.